Tēnā koe, Mr Chair, tēnā tātou katoa. Mr Chair, I'm happy to take a call on this bill, and my take, Mr Chair, is it's one of those bills that, from my considered opinion, contains so many complex issues, and it's a piece of legislation I think has been poorly thought through and has too many big issues in one bill. And for me, Mr Chair, it's symptomatic of a government rushing through poorly drafted legislation to meet their economic growth agenda. And this amendment bill, on reading it, definitely talks around doing exactly that. And we've seen plenty of examples in local government where that is actually occurring, where the local voice, the democratic elected councillors' voices are getting sidelined to ensure that economic growth development opportunities are pushed through. Mr Speaker, when I look at the provisions of this bill, for example, and we see when they talk about transfer of responsibilities, which talks about allowing regional councils to transfer responsibility to territorial authorities and vice versa. I can see practically, Mr Chair, that that's going to create a whole lot of confusion out there for people in terms of who's been held accountable for regional local government issues by the fact that you could transfer your responsibility. So for me, some shifting sands appears to be when you have the ability to transfer responsibilities. And I think a lot of our public out there, Mr Chair, expect that when they elect their local councillors, that at the end of the day, they're the ones where the buck stops. And so the faith in the democratic process is utmost in a lot of our people's minds. Turning to the local boards, Mr Chair, and then we see that the reorganisation, the creation of local boards, as determined by the Local Government Commission, to me speaks of a lot of forced amalgamations that we are seeing around the country, and that I think earlier speakers have spoken, bigger is not often better, but removing the local voice to have a say on whether amalgamation is the right thing to do around the country, I think is an injustice. We need to ensure that how local communities shape themselves should be determined at that local level and not be forced by this whole need to rationalise and bring it into a single unit. Again, we're not a large country, Mr Chair, and removing the unique differences that communities bring to decision making, I think, is overlooked when we're looking at local boards. But the one, Mr Speaker, that I really want to take some time on and give some thoughts to is around the consultation provision in the bill. And again, we've seen plenty of times where we have got that so wrong. And I spoke earlier on this bill with my own local project around the Ruataniwha water storage dam scheme, which is taking place as we speak in Hawke's Bay, Central Hawke's Bay. And from my observation of that process and the people that came to submit in the Board of Inquiry, the paramount thing that came up in those hearings, which were over 26 weeks in length, Mr Chair, was the fact that no consultation occurred to people of interest of that area. And that was a sad thing to hear time and time and time again. And so for the Board of Inquiry in that particular matter to tell the Hawke's Bay Regional Council to enter into an open consultation process goes to the heart of saying we didn't get it right in the first place, but we're going back to do it again. And so any bills that come through this House, Mr Chair, in my view, that undermines the importance of consulting widely on critically large issues like building a dam, like building other local infrastructure, requires the
Joe Hayes.
I move that the question now be put.
No, I'm calling Denise Roach.
Yeah.
Denise Roach.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Councils are basically in the business of planning for the future.